So in 1999, when this movie was released, and it was possible to actually see it, I wasn't anywhere close to being in this industry. In fact, I think the first person who ever paid me to write anything was seated next to me, LaMarr. And when I saw Free Enterprise, I realized two things. Number one, that, okay, understand, 1999, the internet is nascent. It's cans and string. Everything is black and white. It actually makes sense that it takes 2 hours for a typist for these fucking pictures to come over to the fax machine. All right. So we weren't living in a world where you understood there were lots of people like that. So seeing Free Enterprise, I suddenly went, oh my God, that is me. Now I had no idea how much that was me, but that was me. And it gave me a certain confidence. The other thing, and it's on the meta level of what Free Enterprise is, because it is this totally fictional, semi-autobiographical, made-up story about something that never happened, that's totally real. But what it was really about was you guys and your experience following a dream and being you. And so being able to meet you, having seen that film, what it nailed down for me was that what I wanted to do, which was to write movies, that was a legit choice. That I could pick up my entire life, change everything, and go for it in this industry, and that maybe it could work out, but that at least I wouldn't be doing that alone. So I actually, Free Enterprise holds a very special place in my heart.
And I think I've told this story before, but Rob, Burnett, and I met at San Diego Comic-Con. We met here, and in fact, the girl that Claire is based on was a girl he met here. This girl Tanya. She was pretty hot. She's a big geek. But the thing was, he was working for Full Moon at the time, and I was doing a magazine called Sci-Fi Universe, and we were co-sponsoring an event together. So Rob was there on behalf of Full Moon, and I was there for Sci-Fi, and the event was a disaster. It was some movie theater back when the Gaslamp District was a slum, and they were the buses got delayed, so we had a vamp, and Peter David was reading from his comic book to try and keep the audience from rioting. And so we all went to hang out at Chuck E. Cheese, and literally at Chuck E. Cheese. And we sort of became friends over Chuck E. Cheese, which sounds a little weird now. And then Rob and I, became good friends, and that led to Free Enterprise. But we have a special guest to join us. I will introduce him. I'm so thrilled that he was able to make it because he has a crazy Comic-Con schedule. But it would not be a Free Enterprise reunion without the great, wonderful Phil LaMarr.
First question to you is, what is this guy really like as a boss? What's he like to work for? Does anybody care? I care! I care.
Surprisingly not narcissistic for a man who made a movie about his own life. Because you always think, really? You guys, they've done these, beautified versions of themselves. Kept Eric McCormick to play him.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, we're like brothers. No, they were really great. It was fun because it's like you guys forgot it was about you, and it wasn't like when this happened in real life. With the exception of Rob would always remind us, that actually happened to that girl.
People always ask about the scene in the car, and Rob was, that really happened. It's like, and you're proud of that, Rob?
Oh yeah, the good stuff, the bad stuff, all of it. He owned all of it, and just with the girls. But the rest of the stuff, they like to be embarrassed, no, whatever you guys want to do, that's great.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Claudia. I mean, she's hot. She is very hot. Okay, and so hot that I was just like, that would never happen. But it did happen. But I want to know, how did you find your Claire?
Well, we had hired a casting director, Linda Francis, who unfortunately is no longer with us from The Swingers. And so Patrick Van Horn was cast not because he was Swingers, but because he looked so much like the real Sean, who also is regrettably no longer with us. but that was what Patrick McHorn was the first person hired, and I think they had offered Matthew Lillard for Robert, who turned it down, and Robert was like ended up being the last role cast, but Phil came in very early, got it immediately, we hired him immediately, and I figured, we kept saying, we never gave him enough to do in the movie, when we do the sequel, we're going to give Eric a lot more to do, and then we also had McCormick. I'll tell you really quickly, because I don't know how much time we have. There was, during the readings, I would read the role of Mark, and apparently I was pretty good, because they're like, you should play Mark, and I'm like, no, you need a real actor, I'm not an actor, and this is no. And there was this whole movement, like draft Mark to play Mark, and to my credit, I will say that, I said, no way, we're going to find somebody, and as soon as the right person comes in the door, you're going to forget we ever had this stupid discussion.
Like you were a horrible basketball player.
Eric McCormick came in, and that was the last we ever heard of me playing.
Surprisingly, non-narcissistic.
No, I wanted to know that's the movie. I mean, that was so important. So,
But he did want to play that.
Oh, good. Look, Audie England has just she's done Delta Venus and a couple other things, but she came in to review nothing about sci-fi, but she had, I think Ron described it, she had a voice like ear honey. I think that's how he described it. She had this really just beautiful, melodic, and she reminded me of like sexier Diane Keaton, and she was really good in the audition. It was between her and another actress. And I think also Zoe McClellan, who was on NCIS, the new album NCIS, and so it was the three of them. It was another girl that Rob really loved and was pushing for.
You knew that was bad.
Yeah, and but we all loved Audie, and we cast her, and she was great because she was really credible. But we gave her, remember we did, you didn't need this, but we did a video, tutorial, which was 20 minutes of clips to explain all the references. The references for all the mundanes who didn't get the movie. So we had every reference in the movie. We'd have like a card, and then it would be the scenes in the movie we're referencing. So we said, "Can't do it, Sally," to be scenes from The Godfather. When it was like, "You blew it up, you maniacs," to be, Planet of the Apes. And it was like, it turned into like 40 minutes.
It's like deep promisers. Like you're doing a Shakespeare, well, in Shakespearean times, this term refers to it's the equivalent of that.
I wish we still had it. It was on VHS. Nobody can find it. We did a 70th birthday video for Phil Shatner, and that was also like Ben Stiller was in it, and all these great people we got in, and I don't know what happened to that. But I wanted to show that today, and of course I asked Rob, did you have the 70th birthday video for Shatner? Because there was like Jason Alexander was in it, and Jonathan Dolgen was the head of Paramount at the time, and we can't find it. So make sure the 30th anniversary of Free Enterprise will pick it up.
One of my favorite references was this tiny thing where Eric McCormick is telling Sean to sit down. He's like, just have a seat. Right. And finally he goes, will you please sit down? And I'm just like, Star Trek the Motion Picture. And I'm like, it just breezes right by. And I'm like, it was such, and he did it like in the same intonation.
It was
like,
perfect.
Just these great little
and it's like it's our business speech.
Yeah.
I remember it. This is the only time Eric ever said this. He said, I don't want to hurt, just roll camera. Just roll camera. I'm like, watch, I got this. He's been watching, the Return to Tomorrow, like over and over, apparently, and so we rolled on the first take, and he just nailed it.
Wow.
Oh, it was so great. I mean, he does such a great Shatner, and it was awesome, and we were all like in awe. I was like, oh my God, and I just read that was really supposed to be the Kirk monologue, and Shatner wanted to. No, it was supposed to be the Shatner monologue, and Shatner said, change it to Kirk, because, I was like, no, it's a Shatner. You are Kirk. It's like, none of this bullshit about how you're not the same person. Kirk would not be so cool if you were not so cool. Let's face it,
Like you were saying about the little moments like that, could you please sit down?
I just want to point out why Dave is the perfect guy for the Kickstarter TV pod. He owns, this is true, Kit. He owns Kit. He talks. I met him for lunch one day to discuss this. He said, come out and see my car. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Kit. And then he started talking to me. Kit was talking to me. It was amazing. I'm like, oh my God, you're the right guy. You are welcome to Free Enterprise.
I mean, my story real quick my involvement with this was, I was working with Robert at an ad agency, and we became best friends, you know, talking about Star Trek, comic books, everything. And then, thank you, Green Lantern. And then I remember I came out here, I came to Comic-Con, and I lost my friend, and back then we had pagers, and we couldn't get in touch with anybody. You had to leave a message, they would call the payphone, maybe it would get through, maybe it wouldn't. And I was like, all right, I have nowhere to sleep, I gotta go home. And all of a sudden I hear Robert going, Dave Rogers! And next thing you know, he invites me to stay in his room with 6 other people. I meet you. No. But I remember meeting you, and I did we talked about Star Trek, and right away I did an impression of Kirk from, God, you managed to kill just about everyone else. But like a poor marksman, you keep missing the target. And right away we were like, you're like, wow, we should work together. And then I was working on Seinfeld a few years later, and I'm looking at Variety, you guys made a movie with Shatner. And I called Robert, and I ditched him out. You didn't invite me to the set? And he invited me to the premiere, I saw the movie, and I was like, I wish I had made this movie. Like, that's the highest compliment I could pay. It just hit all the things that were so dear to me. It's brilliant friends and just executed so beautifully.
No, and I remember going to meet you over at Universal where you're doing the mini project, and I said, look, you know, we're thinking about doing a TV series, and I know what a fan you are and what facility you have in comedy, and something you'd be interested in. You said, absolutely. And it was great. So, I mean, that's why I really want to see it come to fruition, because we also know a lot more than we ever knew. I think, you know, we can really make something special. Even when we did the 5th anniversary edition, I think we just tweaked a few things that made it a better movie. And I just have to add one thing, just, you know, in terms of our geekiness, not only on screen but off screen. I mentioned James Coburn, our sound mixer, a little earlier, and you know, we were newbies to making films, so like for every, you know, even the PAs, you have to meet 20, you know, to decide on who we were going to have put, and you know, like every position. Oh, well, we have to meet the key grip, and you know, we have to see at least 30 people before we make a movie, you know. But with, you know, the sound mixer. Our line producer said, you know, I have a sound mixer for you. He says, well, you know, how many do you have to meet? He says, 1. I said, well, no, we need to meet, you know, like 20 people. He says, he's James Coburn's son. I said, son, he's our sound mixer. Charade, the Magnificent Seven. I approve. Let's get him start. The movie didn't start shooting for a couple weeks. Well, don't we need him earlier? So, you know, I wanted to talk to him about it. But, no wonder you're still in the business. That's how I make these decisions. Like, oh, well, James Coburn's son? Absolutely.
So, we have a couple minutes left, and I just want to ask, Mark, I mean, 15 years later, how do you feel about the way Freedom Prize was held up? How do you feel about its legacy? How do you feel about the fact that people are here because they want to know about the film and about the legacy of the movie and how it's just why it endures? It was really special. It was really special.
You know, look, like I said earlier, I'm really, truly touched by it. It means a lot. The movie means a lot to me, but the fact that it means a lot to other people means even more. You know, I met my wife because of Free Enterprise, and also, you know, I told this story in an interview for the Digital Bit Stuff, the 15th anniversary, but it's true. I had a meeting with Shatner about something, and I had to meet him at the Horse, the Equestrian Center, right? I mean, what a cliche. So it was on a Saturday, so I had my daughter was with me and my wife, and we went out to the Equestrian Center, and literally Bill Shatner rides up to us on horseback with a cowboy hat and says, hello, Mark, I'll be right down as soon as I dismount. And he rode on to literally like into the sunset. And my daughter at the time was 3 years old. She said, you know, like, who was that? I said, one day you'll be telling your kids how you first met Captain Kirk. You know, it could not be a greater moment. I think you know, lightning could have struck me and I could have died. I would have died a happy time. But thankfully not. We have the Kickstarter going on right now. But yes, that's a true story.
Well, listen, guys, thanks so much. Great to be here. Great to talk.
So grateful to Phil for making time to be here.
And tonight at 8:15, Free Enterprise is playing tonight on the big screen at 8:15 at the Marriott Arena Ballroom B, right?
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con has been so supportive of this movie from day one. They're screening the movie tonight. There's such a great group here that loves this movie and supported this movie from day one. and hopefully we can keep making movies like it, and just thank you for all your support and passion keeping this alive. I can't believe 15 years later, here we are in San Diego, still talking about this stupid movie. So thank you so